Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I know I haven't uploaded a video in a real long time, so I decided to make this OBS tutorial video to show you guys how to record like PC gameplay and or your screen to the highest quality possible. So let's get started. So obviously, to do this, you obviously need OBS Studio, which click the link in the description and it should take you to this page right here, obsproject.com. Over here you need to download OBS that you need. So like in my case it's Windows, or if you have a Mac, Apple computer, you can obviously click on Mac OS, and if you have Linux, then you can use the Linux version. Obviously I'm using Windows, so just click the button and OBS should start downloading any second. After you downloaded OBS and you've installed it, which I'm not going to show you guys because it's just a stupid long process. It's not really long, it's just a stupid annoying process which you guys probably wouldn't want to see anyway. So after you install OBS, you'll get this icon on your desktop right here called OBS Studio. When OBS is fully installed, make sure to right click and open it, or you can just double click and open it. Doesn't really matter which one you do. When you open it for the first time, you'll get a window that looks something like this. So it's going to be a plain canvas, so there's nothing added to this, this is just a plain program that you can't really do anything at the moment. So the first thing you got to do is hit the settings button and move over to the general tab, which is the first tab. So I'm going to take you guys step by step each of these tabs and explain to you what each of these tabs do. So in the general tab, you don't need to mess around with anything except for the theme. So I personally use the dark theme because I just really like it and it's a lot easier to see and stuff. So I usually go to the dark theme, but there's Raichi, and it's Raichi? No, it's whatever that is. There's this, and there's a default theme and the dark theme. I usually go with the dark theme because it's the best one in my opinion. After you selected the theme that you like, and just click on apply and head over to the next tab. Don't really mess around anything over here. You don't really need to be honest. So let's move on to the stream tab. So in this case, we're going to be recording gameplay. I will be making a separate tutorial showing you guys how to stream to YouTube and Twitch. So for this tutorial, let's just ignore this tab right here. So as I said earlier, we're going to be recording gameplay and stuff. So let's head over to the output tab. This tab right here is the main tab. The first thing you got to do is look at output mode and click on it and click advanced. So this is what you want to choose. After you do that, head over to recording, not streaming, recording, and then keep type as standard. Don't choose custom output and FFmpeg. Just make sure to choose standard. After you do that, make sure to select the output path. So this is basically where you want a recorded file to be at. So in my case, I want to record this on my secondary drive. So all you got to do is find the location. In my case, I'm just going to call it OBS REC, so OBS recordings, and that's where I'm going to store my recorded files. As for recording format, make sure to choose MP4 because it's the most commonly used format. And it allows you to record multiple audio tracks, which is also a feature for OBS. So as for audio tracks, I usually go with audio track 1 and 2. Basically what audio track is it allows you to separate different kinds of audio. So for example, audio track 1 can be the gameplay sound, so the gameplay audio, so the audio that's produced by your game, and audio track 2 can basically be your microphone. So anything that's been recorded through your microphone goes into audio track 2. So when you import the file that you recorded into your editing software, like Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, you'll see two separate audio tracks. It basically allows you to record or edit your audio a lot more better, in my opinion. It allows you to do a lot more customization to your audio, so it can adjust the audio levels for both them separately. Audio track 1 is basically going to be the sound of our desktop, and audio track 2 is going to be the sound of your microphone. As for encoder, make sure to go with NVENC H.264. This is because we're recording gameplay here, and if you have a good or alright computer with a NVIDIA graphics card, always make sure you go with NVENC. If you have an AMD graphics card, you'll get another option here. Make sure to go with that. Or if you have a really good CPU, in my case I have an i7 7700K, which is a really good CPU, you can go with X264. Basically, this is a software-based encoder, and this is a hardware-based encoder. But while recording, you should probably just go with your hardware encoder, whether it's AMD or Intel or NVIDIA. In my case, I'm just going to go with NVENC H.264 because it's like the best one for recording local gameplay or your screen. It has the least impact on your computer. When you choose your CPU, it has more impact. So if you have a really weak CPU like an i5 or an i3, just please do not choose the X264 option. So after encoder, leave rescale output unchecked. So don't touch this option right here. Just leave it unchecked. If you have a 1080p screen or 1440p screen or even a 4K screen, just leave it unchecked. Custom muxer settings, you don't really want to use this unless you know what you're doing. So if you really have the need for this, you probably know what you're doing and you're probably going to use it. Rate control. So the most commonly used specification right here is CBR, or constant bitrate. There's other options like VBR, or variable bitrate, and CQP, which I don't really know the abbreviation for, but CQP, I don't really know what that stands for, but lossless is basically the raw recorded file. So what this is, it just takes the gameplay from the source, which is the game, and it just outputs a one-to-one copy of what you're looking at and what the gameplay will be. So the file size for lossless is huge. Like it's just it's a crazy amount of crazy huge file size and the crazy huge bit rate. So you don't really want to mess with that. So in my opinion, CBR is the way to go. So obviously when you're recording, you're not really messing with your internet or nothing like that. It's just a local recording. So you can actually jack the bitrate all the way up to like really high, like a really high amount or a really high value. So if you want to, and if your graphics card can handle it, you could even go 90,000. So that's like what I would recommend you to go if you're recording like 1440p or 4K 30 FPS. But for 1080p 60 FPS, you could go for 60,000, which is really high for 1080p. And personally, this is what I use, and this is what I'm using at the moment for OBS to record this screen, what you guys are looking at right now. So keyframe interval, you can leave it at 0, preset default. You could change it to high quality, but if you don't have a good enough PC, just make sure to leave it default. Profile, make sure to keep it at main. Level, keep it at auto. And use 2-pass encoding, and over here it says GPU 0. That means it's using your only graphics card. If you have 2 graphics cards, it's going to say GPU 0 or GPU 0 plus 1 or something like that. So if you have 1 graphics card, if you see 0, just leave it at that. And B frame, just leave it at 2. After all your settings are set up, you can just click on apply and move on to the audio tab right here next to recording. So this is where it links in to the audio tracks from here. So as you guys can see, I chose audio track 1 and 2. So these directly correspond to audio track 1 and 2 over here. So the audio bitrate for audio track 1 is 160, but we can jack that all the way up to 320, and we can do the same for audio track 2 as well. The reason why I'm going all the way up to 320 is because this is a local recording, and you know, people won't really have a problem even listening to this because it is a local recording. If for example, if you're streaming on Twitch or YouTube, if you go like really high bitrate for audio, people might have a problem listening to you, or there may be some sync issues if you have a decent or a really bad PC. But if you recording locally, make sure to just go to the best, just the best option, 320. After you set this up, just make sure to click on apply, and if you want to, you could set up replay buffer, which I'll have a separate video, but for now let's just leave that alone. So now let's go to the actual audio tab. This is where you set up your audio devices. So the first option here is sample rate. To find out what your mic sample rate is, all you got to do is head over to this little speaker icon right here, right click, and click on recording devices. Then you got to find your microphone, which in my case is right here, my audio interface, and right click and click on properties. After you do that, make sure to go to advanced, and it will tell you the sample rate right here. In my case, the sample rate is 48,000 hertz or 48 kilohertz. So you can X out of this window and choose 48 kilohertz right here. You do need to restart the program after you change this option, so just keep that in mind. The channel, stereo or mono. If you have a stereo system, stereo. If you have a mono system, mono. In my case, I have a mono system, but I am passing my audio through Voicemeeter Banana, which will also have a video about, so keep an eye out for that. For desktop devices, make sure to click default. So this is basically, this is the default device that all your audio is passed through. So this will be your game sound, your Discord, and stuff like that. If you want to separate your Discord, make sure to select your Discord output over here, which in this case we haven't set it up like that. So let's just leave that for now. And for your mic device, you can select your microphone, which in my case is right here. Voicemeeter output right here. This is my mic right here. Nope, my mic, sorry about that. My mic is cable output, VB audio cable right here. This is the one. We can leave these blank or disabled and this one at fast and click apply. So as you guys can see, both these audio devices have been set up right now, and we can move on to the next section, which is video. So right over here is the most important thing. So as you guys probably remember from earlier, over here we had recording, and I told you not to rescale output. So I told you guys not to rescale output over here. That is because over here we have the option to rescale if you want to. So the base canvas is the resolution of your monitor. So in my case, I have a 1080p monitor, so that's why it says 1920 by 1080. So the output resolution is the resolution that you want your recorded file to be or your stream to be. So in this case, it's a recording, so it's going to be, if your screen or your gameplay is 1080p, your recording is going to be 720p. If you don't want that to 720p, you can honestly change it back to 1080p, or you can even go lower if you want to for some reason, you know. So in my case, I've chosen my recording so to be at 1080p. Or the downscale filter is basically when you downscale your gameplay from 1080p or your canvas resolution to scale resolution. You need to have a filter so it sharpens the video. So in this case, we are not downscaling anything, so we can just keep it at bilinear. And the FPS, if you're recording gameplay, you'll probably have 60 FPS, so make sure to go with 60 FPS. If you don't want to go 60 FPS, it's totally fine. You can go 30 FPS. But the most commonly used number for gameplay is usually 60 FPS. Click 60 FPS and apply, and move on to hotkeys. So this is where you can set hotkeys to actually start recording and stop recording. To set an hotkey, you just gotta click here and press the key that you want to set. So in my case, I don't really set hotkeys because I have two monitors, but just make sure to click and push the key that you want to set to record. I don't really want to do that right now because, as I said earlier, I have two monitors, but make sure to set a key that is not already set, that is not set to something else, so it doesn't overlap with a different program or a different command. So make sure to choose a key that's available to use. And you can also set up hotkeys for muting and like push to talk and stuff like that. So there's also that kind of options right here. And from then on, let's move to advanced. So over here, for process priority, we can keep it to normal. You could change it up if you have like a really good CPU. So if you have like an AMD Ryzen 7 or a Threadripper, you could go above normal or even high. But I have an i7, so I'm going to stick to normal. If you have an i7 or like the latest generation i7, like 8700K or even an i9, make sure to just choose above normal or high. But if you have an i7 7700K, 6700K, or anything below that, make sure to just click on normal. If you have an i5, just keep it at normal as well. Or if you have like an i3, just make sure to go below normal. As for video, make sure to choose the renderer for Direct3D 11. It's the only one available. Color format to NV12, YUV color space to 601, and the color range to partial. You could go full, but just make sure to keep it at partial. I've seen some people choose full, but I have like the same results in like the end product, so I should go with partial. This option I don't really mess with. It's the audio monitoring device. You don't really want to be monitoring your audio through OBS, if you know what I mean. If you want to monitor your audio, make sure to do it using some other program or a hard resolution like I'm doing right now. So don't really use this right here. It's probably gonna have a delay, like a huge delay, so make sure just not to mess with this. So just leave this as it is, and that's basically it. So click apply and okay. So now, as you guys can see, it looks different from what we started with. We have the desktop audio, mic audio. As you guys can see, it's moving up as I'm speaking, and we have scenes and sources. What this basically is, a scene is a collection of sources. So for example, right now I have a scene. Let me just rename this to main gameplay. So I have a scene called main gameplay right now. So under the scene, I'll have multiple sources for my gameplay. So over here, I can add an overlay. So I can add an image for overlay, or I can add a game capture. We want to go with game capture here. So click game capture and call it the name of the game that you want to capture. So let's just say Fortnite. Dang. Okay. Click OK and click on cancel. So now you got to open your game. So let me just open Fortnite. Okay, so now that Fortnite's open, we can just Alt Tab out of Fortnite. And as you guys can see, Fortnite has appeared on OBS. So all you got to do now is hit start recording and you're good to go. You could customize this a bit more by right clicking and properties. So as you guys can see, there's an option called, there's a mode here, so you can capture any full screen application. So what this means is basically, if there's a game open, it's just going to capture it automatically. But since we have this scene specifically, since the source specifically Fortnite, what we're going to do is we're going to click on this and select capture specific window. When you do that, it's going to give you an option for window. Click the little drop down tab and make sure to find the Fortnite client exe. So right over here, click that and don't check or uncheck any of these options. If you want, you can uncheck this capture cursor so it doesn't really capture the cursor, or you can leave it if you want to, which in most cases I do, because obviously I want to capture my cursor. And click OK and you're basically good to go now. So when you hit start recording, it's going to start recording Fortnite and or any other game that you have set up. So if you guys found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and comment down below. What do you guys think? If you need any help, make sure to just comment down below and I can help you set up OBS using TeamViewer or something like that. And I will be making a tutorial for streaming on Twitch and YouTube, as well as a XSplit tutorial for streaming and recording. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.